the VW Up. Now, should you save your money and get a VW Up, or should you spend more and get a proper car like a VW Polo or a VW Golf? Well, today we are going to answer that question. But not only that, we're going to answer one of my own questions, and that is, do you need more than 100 horsepower to have fun on a British B road? Well, that's got 75 horsepower, but it doesn't weigh much and it is in theory quite nimble. So let's answer those questions, shall we? But not only that, we're going to do a 0 to 60, a 30 to 70, see what MPG this thing will really do. Will it do its quoted figures? And of course, we are going to see how fun this car is to drive. Because my name's Tom and you are watching Paragon Cars. Let's get into it. So yes, we've got 75 horsepower and just 95 Newton meters from this little 1 litre engine. No turbocharger here, but it's a manual gearbox and it only weighs just under 1 tonne. So in theory, it should be quite peppy. So let's see what it can do on the 30 to 70 sprint.
Years later.
30 to 70 then, we did 16.52 seconds, which is the second slowest car on our leaderboard, just ahead of a 2013 Ford Fiesta. So certainly not the fastest time in the world, but something about this VW Up is different to the 60 horsepower version, and that is that the owner of this car has actually fitted the gearbox from the 75 horsepower car, which actually has shorter gear ratios, which actually makes it quicker. So if you think that's slow, try driving the 60 horsepower version. Now you might be thinking, why has the owner fitted a different gearbox? Well, that's because they basically bought a mid to low spec VW Up and just wanted a higher spec car. And instead of buying the higher spec car, he's just fitted all the parts himself. In fact, he's taken the dashboard out of this thing and fitted a new wiring loom and a new 6-speaker Fender sound system and the leather seats from the higher spec VW Up. He has basically taken a mid-level car and just made it the highest spec VW Up you can buy, which to me is absolutely mental. I would just buy the highest spec car, but some people like the build, and he certainly does. Talking about the interior, this has got to be one of the most mint condition VW Ups I've ever seen. The seats are basically new. Pretty much nothing has any wear and tear on it. Well, because it is new, effectively, even though this is a 2013 car. And it's got everything that you would kind of want from a modern car. It's got a radio, as I mentioned, a 6-speaker Fender sound system, air conditioning. Doesn't have cruise control, unfortunately, but it does have an armrest, so you can rest your left arm somewhere. It's got electric windows, and it's got lovely leather seats, which are heated. But not only has he done that all to the interior, he's actually fitted arch liners to the rear of the car as well. Now, if you own a VW Up or you're looking at one, this is actually quite a common problem. You get rust, basically, because these don't come with rear arch liners as standard. And the owner of this car has actually fitted them, which just prevents rust. One little mod that you can do that can save you a lot of headache in the future. Then the back seats. With the driver's seat in my position, can I get in the back? Let's find out. This is why you maybe need to buy a VW Polo. But you know what? Actually, I might not have really any knee room left, but I'm still fairly comfortable in this thing. And I've actually got a fair amount of headroom left as well, which for a small car is pretty damn impressive. But what about the drive? Is this car fun? It weighs under a tonne at the end of the day. So let's get it on some roads now and see how she handles. Now, the other mod the owner of this car has done to it is he's put the 15mm lowering springs on it that you get from factory on the higher spec VW Up. And it just basically makes the suspension a little bit sportier. Over speed bumps, it's kind of noticeable. Like you feel it on the rear especially, that it's definitely a little bit firmer. But that's quite nice. It feels
like it suits this kind of car quite well. I want to feel quite connected to the road in this thing. Just pootling around town, the VW Up is such a fantastic little car. Gearbox is easy, throttle pedal, brake pedal, easy to modulate. The clutch as well is very easy. Everything's just quite soft, but because the car's light, you feel quite a lot of what is going on. The steering wheel, so lovely and thin. That's exactly what I want from a car, just in general. But a car like this, it's lovely. It feels so peppy and zippy, and even low down in the rev band, it's got just enough torque. Even though it's at under 100 Newton meters, it's actually all right. And then obviously the other huge advantage to the Up is just parking. This car's been fitted with like everything you would ever need. I mean, to be honest, I don't think you need parking sensors in this, but the fact it has it is quite extraordinary. But do you know what it has as well? A reverse camera that comes up in your rear view mirror. How cool is that? And it's got lines, but they're not lines telling you where you're going, they're just there basically. But the parking sensors in this work kind of like they do in the old Mercedes C-Class. It's got little bars that come up here that tell you how far away you are from something. And yeah, it's brilliant. Obviously, this is a 5-door version, so it's got even smaller doors than the 3-door version. And yeah, you can always get to the first notch when you're in a parking space. If you live in a city, this car is brilliant. Will it be compromised on the motorway though? Well, we are going to find out in a second. Not only that, we're also going to see how loud this thing is inside with a proper decibel reader. Coming out of junctions then, manual gearbox, front wheel drive, give it half throttle, get the bike point in the clutch, and then off you go. It's peppy. Do you need more power than that round town? No, not really. The only thing I will say is that I think on the motorway it might suffer a little bit. Now then, talking about the motorway, I mentioned we're going to test the decibel level. We're also going to test the MPG of this thing. So this current trip computer was reset when the owner of this car left this morning, and he was doing just over 50 miles per gallon. And we're going to see how that changes on this review, because we're going to do some slightly sporty driving as well. VW claim this will do about 53 to 57 miles per gallon, and so far it's looking like it will just about do that. But will that figure stay the same? Well, before we find that out, let's see if this thing has enough power to be driven on the motorway. Alright then, coming onto motorway, 3rd gear, 4,000 revs. Come on! Okay, no, it doesn't quite have enough power to get into the middle lane straight away. But there's 70. Straight into 5th gear, sit at about 3,000 revs. The shorter gearing, I would say, is definitely needed if you're doing a lot of motorway journeys. But if I turn this fan down, one thing I am noticing is just how quiet this car is. It's really quite pleasant. So you get all the benefits of kind of being able to pootle around town, but you still get that Volkswagen quality when you're on the motorway. The sound deadening is still pretty decent. One thing I am noticing though is that our fuel economy is going down. Anyway, let's see what the real decibel figure is and the real MPG figure. So before we go through the MPG figures and the sound figure for this car, I just wanted to go through some takeaways from the motorway. One, the ride is exceptional. Even though this is on the lower suspension, it feels very accomplished, very comfortable at 70 miles an hour. Two, the visibility is amazing. We've got really low slung windows, and it just means you can see all around the car. And because it's just a fundamentally small car, it's just really easy to see out of. And then 3, one mod that the owner of this car has done, and I'm going to say it's 100% needed if you want a complete car, is a central armrest. It makes a huge difference to the comfort on long motorway journeys, because you've just got somewhere to rest your left elbow. And you kind of think, well, it's not a sort of deal breaker, but when you've got 2 places, so my right elbow can sit on the windowsill, left elbow can sit here, it's just so much more comfortable. It feels like a much bigger car then. Anyway, in terms of MPG, we did 48 miles per gallon. I know that's saying 47 now, but we did 48 MPG on the motorway, which is pretty good when you're sitting at 70 miles an hour. And remember, we're sitting at 3,000 revs as well. So if you drive a little bit slower, you're easily going to get well above 50 miles per gallon in this thing. But that's not the most impressive part, because we did 72.7 decibels. That's only 1.2 decibels more than what I regard is a very quiet car, and that is an Audi A3. The previous generation version, that is a really nice car. So if you need something to poodle around town in, and you need something that's really good on a motorway journey, even though it's got all the benefits of a small car, this is fantastic. And then in terms of handling, obviously it weighs less than a ton, this thing, so you can really chuck it into corners. I can feel exactly what the front end is doing, and then coming out, that's where you get the only problem, because my foot is down now, and yeah, there's 50. Might have to create a time lapse of this acceleration. There's 60. There's 5,000 revs. And there's 70, finally. So yes, it's not a quick car by any means, but once it's up to speed, you can chuck it in fifth and it will just about maintain its speed. Now in terms of brakes, get to the 100-yard marker, we've got disc brakes at the front, and do you know what? For a skinny car, usually skinny cars will kind of dance around all over the place, especially with their cheaper suspension setups. But do you know what? This is actually quite good. It brakes in a nice straight line, and the brake pedal is nice and confidence inspiring. But it's the steering that I really like. I can kind of, because I've got such good visibility, I can really see where I'm going. Nice skinny steering wheel, and it's got enough power that I can kind of feel the car moving around in the corners. So on the faster stuff, yes, it does lack a bit of power, but on the smaller stuff, I reckon it could be quite a laugh. So before we go and find out what it's like on a smaller B road, let's do a 0 to 60 and see what it does. VW claimed this will do 0 to 60 in 13.2 seconds. I'm going to be very gentle on the clutch because this is an owner car, it's not my car. So it might be a little bit slower than that. But what's a 0 to 60 like if you're ginger with it? Let's find out.
Similar to the 30 to 70 time, the 0 to 60 time was, yeah, it was quite slow. We did 16.6 seconds, about 3 seconds off of its claimed time, and that's because I'm just being quite nice to the car. Even so, it's still the slowest car we've ever tested.
So yes, we know it's a slow car, but down a smaller B road like this, do you need a lot of power? I don't think so, you know. Can we hit 60 before the corner? I think we might struggle on this one. We got to 50. that's not bad. But do you know what? I'm hearing the engine rev, properly rev. I mean, I can enjoy the gearbox, I can enjoy the steering, I can enjoy the suspension. The car feels light on its toes because it is light. Like coming into corners like this, you can really just dive into them. And no, I'm not going sideways, I'm not doing anything silly, but I am having a good time. And the thing is, because it's skinny, I've just got loads of room in my lane as well. I can see around corners, I've just got so much more confidence in what I'm doing. So for a younger driver, I think this car is actually brilliant, because it's very, very difficult to make a mistake in it. It holds the road so well. And you know what? Because it kind of moves around a little bit, you get a lot of fun out of it. And that's with all the traction control and assistance systems still on. You know what? I am very pleasantly surprised by this thing. I thought it was going to be noticeably the cheaper car in the range. But this is much, much closer to a Polo to drive. I would say it's 95% of the way there, you know. But key takeaways from this video, for me, definitely get the centre armrest. It makes a huge difference. The fact it's padded as well and adjustable makes such a difference. Get the higher power car, 75 horsepower, you definitely need it if you're driving on the motorway. This is still a little bit lackluster, but it's just about good enough. And don't worry about the sound deadening. The sound deadening is extraordinary. This really is a have your cake and eat it kind of car. It's got things like air conditioning, a sat nav, reverse camera, parking sensors, everything you could possibly want. Electric windows as well. But it's got all the advantages of a small car. Like here, I didn't have to pull over to let that van go. I can just go. Because the car is small enough, I can fit down tiny little roads like this with confidence. I know I'm not frightened that someone's going to open their door. Like here, look, usually in most cars I'd have to wait to let that car past, and in this I don't. I literally get to places sooner. This is the fastest car around London. Anyway, as always, I hope you enjoy content like this. If you did, give us a like, and why not subscribe? As not only can you see more content like this, you can see everything we have for sale. Unfortunately, it doesn't include the car in this video, but massive shout out to the guy that lent us the car. He's done an absolutely amazing build on a VW Up. It's amazing there's people out there like this. Oh, and another mod that he's done to this is he's put a 3D printed air vent above the regular air vent. So now instead of the air just going straight up, it goes at me, which is really nice. One little feature that is well worth having, I'd say.